Hey, welcome back. Simon Lee's here again. I've got an unboxing video for you today. You could probably notice this thing lurking in the corner. It's something that arrived on my doorstep at about 8:30 this morning, and as you can see, it came from the #1 UK guitar shop, Guitar. They've got various branches up and down the country, and this one came from my local branch, which is in Birmingham. So this is an unboxing video, so I haven't even done a fake sort of have a look at it first and then put it back in the box and then do. So everything you see is going to be my honest reaction as to whether what I've bought is what I hoped it would be. As you've probably seen from the thumbnail, I've actually gone out and bought a couple of headless instruments. Headless means that they haven't got a standard headstock, which is where the tuning pegs normally go on guitars. So it's something I've been thinking about for a while for a bass, because when the function band that I play in Sonic Boom, when we're busy during the summer, my left shoulder gets a real kind of workout, you know, and I'm thinking if the bass hasn't got a headstock, it's going to be a little bit lighter, maybe. So we'll find out if there's any truth in that. But I thought, I've never had a headless guitar before, or a bass, so why not give it a bash, you know? So yeah, let's see what's what. So I've got the blunt Stanley knife ready. I'm just going to have the blade sticking out just a couple of millimeters so I don't accidentally chop any of my fingers off. And here we go. So my head's going to be a bit out of shot at the minute. I'm just trying to figure out, because this is the openings to this box are on the ends, so I didn't think it was worth getting Alan involved to do an aerial shot. So excuse that you can't see my face, because my plan is to, right, I'm going to just put that down a sec to the Stanley knife, safety first. Right, so I'm opening the top. There is some packaging. There is some more packaging. There's some more packaging. There's even more packaging. Now I did I did message Ryan, who's an old friend of mine who works at Guitar, to let him know that I was doing an unboxing video of this today. He's the guy that organised this for me. I've got to say, the service has been absolutely brilliant. It's less than 24 hours between ordering and receiving, so that alone is superb. So yep, so I'll carry on. Okay, so all the top packaging is now out. I'm going to take the guitar box out first. Oh, this is funny. So that's the guitar box. Let's just have a quick look at that. So it's probably difficult to get an idea of scale with this, but I mean, if I put it on my lap that way, you can see the box is it's almost comedy small, you know. It's like it's almost like a violin box. Okay, so that's the guitar one. So I'm looking forward to that. That was a bit of an afterthought, actually. But okay, so this is the bass one. This is actually still quite heavy. Ugh. Right. Okay. So this is the bass one. I need to do something with these boxes. You know what? I'm going to just have a little bit of a tidy up, because the space is not a luxury that I've got in the room that I film in. So I'm going to just put the packaging back in the big box for now. Goes in. This is like a tease, isn't it? It's like the ultimate tease. So yeah, all the up to daisy. I hope the guitar's well packaged. So right, I'm just gonna put that box over there out of the way, so that's good. So yeah, I was kind of surprised how heavy the outer box was, you know, with all the stuff in. But this base is actually surprisingly heavy. I mean, you see the size of the box. Yeah, okay. Well, now I'll tell you a little bit about the base as I'm opening it. It's a Cort Space 5. I've been using my main Cort base for a few years now. It's probably about 4 years, and I absolutely love it. So I'm a big fan of the brand, and since I bought the base that I use live, I've also bought myself a fretless base, which is just behind Eric Cartman, and at some point I'll do a little demo of that as well. So right, so I've sliced the bits of tape holding the top lid to the bottom lid, and then so I'll lift the box up. Oh, now that's nice. I was kind of hoping there'd be a decent quality gig bag. I did actually buy a Cort base about a year ago, and I had to send it back because I couldn't play it. It was the neck was just enormous. The neck on my Cort base is, even though it's a 5-string, it's almost like a guitar neck. It's unbelievable, so easy to play. Right now, so I'll just lift this up so you can see the gig bag. So there it is. So it's a nice looking gig bag. Now, what manufacturers normally do is in the pocket, which is sort of over the pickups, they normally put whatever tools you might need to make adjustments. So I'm going to open that up, show you what's in there. Now there's we've got Allen, not Allen the camera, Allen the Allen key. In fact, there's a couple of Allen keys. There's like a really tiny one in there, and then there's a metal bar, which is the spoke key for the truss rod, which we'll have a look at them in a minute. These days, truss rod adjustment tends to be at the bottom of the neck, around about the 24th fret, or however many frets you've got, as opposed to in the traditional place, which always used to be on the end of the headstock, you know, or just past the nut. Cool. So no, I'm going to put that back in. There's a couple of these silica gel packs. I'm going to leave those where they are. So I'll take that out of the box. It's nice. I mean, although it's still quite heavy, but the size of it compared to a standard bass gig bag, absolutely great. You know, so I'd be I'm thinking the sort of gigs that we might do, say if we play festivals where you have to get your gear on stage quickly and get it off stage quickly. This type of case is great. You know, we can just kind of chuck things in, and oh, this is exciting. This is the actual unzipping. Ooh, okay. Now, so this bass came into the shop as a kind of ex-demo thing, which is, you know, partly what attracted me to it, because being ex-demo, it made it a little bit cheaper. So I'll put that back in there. So it's all been wrapped up. This is great. It's like a mummy. It's like a mummified headless bass. Right, is that an elastic band? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So I'll take that off. Unwrap the mummy. So obviously, when I carry the bass to gigs, it won't be in this mummified state. This is just, I mean, this is what, obviously, if you're sending an instrument out to a customer, you've got to make sure it arrives there in good condition, you know. So this is fair play to Guitar. Splendid job in packaging it. But I say, even though it's an ex-demo, it's still got a 3-year warranty, which I think is really good. Now then. Oh, hello. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Now, Ryan did send me some photographs, but I've got to say, that looks really, really nice. Okay, so I say it's a Cort Space 5. Now, say we've still got the plastic on the pickups. That's going to have to come off once I've tried it. But okay, and talking of trying it, let's get straight into it. Now, I'm not recording directly from a computer. All the sound is coming straight into my lapel mic, so hopefully my chin's not bashing into it too much and you're not getting too much crackle. Okay, so the jack socket seems okay. You know what often happens with jack sockets on new guitars is, for some reason, in factories they tend to not tighten them sufficiently and they just come loose kind of in no time. This feels as though it's been through that stage and they've tightened it properly. So if I plug in, yeah, ooh, that's encouraging. So we've got some sound. Ooh. Now I'm just having a feel through the knobs. Okay, there's one of the knobs, the front knob, which I'm guessing is going to be the volume, hasn't got any kind of notches. All the other knobs have got like a center notch, so you can sort of find the middle. Now I'm not sure if you can hear that. There's like a low frequency, strange low frequency noise. Now I'm just going to just plug that in again. This might just be a sort of the fact that it's ex demo. I don't know how long it's been since it was played. So okay, so there is an issue there. If I tap on the jack plug there, there is a like a electrical noise. Okay. We'll have a look at that. Maybe that's something that can be fixed with like Servisol, you know, like a electrical contact spray. So, you know, I'm sure it's not going to be anything serious. Okay, let's figure out what these knobs do. Let's just. Okay, I have put one of my plugins to test this. Okay, so Houston, we have got a problem. Now this is kind of sad because, oh, hang on a minute. No, we haven't. I was just about to get all melancholy. Okay, what it is, this jack socket is actually pretty, it's a good fit, let's say. And I just hadn't pushed it in far enough. Cool, okay. Well, at least you know this unboxing video is is the real deal. That's right, I just noticed some of the packaging was obscuring the light and I don't want to be all dark. Oh, that sounds all right, doesn't it? Right, I'm going to crank it up a bit so you can hear it. Nice thing is I haven't even had to touch the tuning. I normally use a clip-on tuner, but because there's no headstock as such, and the piece of wood that is there is pretty wide, so I'm not sure if the clip-on tuner would even clip on there because I don't think the jaws are big enough. Wow, so this has already been a bit of a journey. Right, I'm going to find out what these knobs do first. Now, a standard active bass circuitry preamp thing, you've normally got 5 knobs, and this is no different. You normally have a volume, a blend control, which sort of controls how much signal comes from each of the 2 pickups, and then you've got the 3 EQ controls, so you'll have a bass, a middle and a treble. Now I'm looking at this and I noticed that there's 3 of the 5 knobs are smaller than these two. So I'm guessing because those three are all the same as each other, they're going to be the EQ knobs. So let's just sort of verify that. So on my normal bass that I use live, the treble knob is the furthest one back, so I'm going to try that first. Yeah, so I've cranked that up and you can hear that's great. So that's really, so I'll put it back to middle. If I turn it off, so that's okay. So I'll try the mid. So this should introduce a bit of bark. So I've cranked this up now. So you can tell me that's it. That's overloading, isn't it? The plugin that I'm using is my Ampeg SVT suite. So it's got various different Ampeg amplifiers in there, and cabinets and microphones and effects. The one I'm using at the moment is the Heritage 50th anniversary SVT, which, you know, you can't beat a bit of vintage gear, can you? So right, so if I take the mid off, okay, that's interesting. Oh, hang on, no, that was the bass. Sorry, wrong one. I'll take it the other way. So that's a nice friendly sound. It's not going to hurt your ears. You know, but it's also probably not going to cut through very well in the mix, you know. Depends what you play though. You know, so I mean, if I was playing chords like that, then I've got to say, I mean, I have actually messaged my friend Andy Neville from Andy Neville's Guitar Workshop. This is something I do as a matter of course. Every time I buy an instrument, whether it's brand new, second hand or whatever, I will book it in with Andy to get him to set it up so that it plays as well as it can play. Right now, it's not bad. The action, you know, I could live with this, and say compared to that bass that I bought last year, which it was the modern jazz bass, I think, or modern J bass or something. It was quite an expensive bass. It was the Cort's pretty much Cort's top of the range model, but the neck on it, especially here, it was just enormous. You know, it was like the strings were about an inch apart. This is a lot more similar to my my standard Cort bass, which is the Artisan B5. Which I absolutely love, you know. So I mean, I haven't got a strap that I can put this on to sort of get an idea of what it's going to be like when I've got it around my neck, you know. One interesting feature, which anybody who's in this position will sort of recognise it, and it's a good argument for getting a headless bass or a headless guitar. I stand on the left-hand side of the stage as I'm looking out at the audience, and I've got a microphone stand in front of me. Now, most of the time I just stand there, but during instrumental sections, guitar solos, I'll kind of move towards the middle of the stage and join Matt as he's doing his thing, you know. But it means that I've got to kind of do this to get past the mic stand, because there's a big headstock at the end of the bass. But I haven't got that anymore on this, so it should be a lot easier to sort of get in and out of my standard playing position, you know. So that's a bonus that I hadn't really considered, but it's valid. Okay, so I'll turn the mid. Oh, I've got the mid back up to no. That's it. I keep thinking the bass controls the mid control. So I'll put the mid back up to what it was. So yeah, so you've got a more focused sort of sound. Now, I'm guessing that the knob closest to where my hand is going to be the volume knob. So I'm going to turn that off, see what happens. Yep. So. So that works okay. So the other knob, the only one that's left, is the blend control. So if I move it anti-clockwise fully, it should just be the neck pickup. No, it's the other one. I think, is it? Yeah, you can hear that the sound which is more tinny, it's got more treble on it. That is definitely the bridge pickup. Yeah, that sounds okay, doesn't it? On the Cort bass that I use now, I remember seeing people reviewing this bass before, and they said the optimum position for the blend control seemed to be so that you got about a 60-40 split between the neck pickup and the sort of favouring the neck pickup over the bridge pickup. So if I kind of do that, it's a very full sound. You know, it's certainly not lacking in any bottom end. Cool. A shout out to the guy who commented on my Wonderwall bassline video, who said that I was just a guitarist pretending to play the bass. Lovely comment. I love stuff like that. Keep them coming. If anybody's got any thoughts that they need to express, anything you've got to get off your chest, please put them in the comments, good or bad, doesn't matter. It all helps. It helps the algorithm at the end of the day. So, right. Now I'm kind of a bit scared to touch these tuners. So the way you tune the strings on the bass is using these things, but I know I'm going to have to at some point. So I'm going to play a harmonic because that'll make it more obvious when something changes. Okay, so that, I suppose, to be expected. It felt pretty stiff to turn. These tuners have got a knurled surface, you know, so it's quite easy to sort of grip. I don't know how easy it's going to be when my hands are sweaty, and I'm also not sure how I'm going to cope if I need to do any drop D tuning stuff, because although I've got a 5-string bass, some of the riffs that we play, you've got to do them in drop D. There's no sort of two ways about it. So I better just try that just to see what that's going to be like. Wasn't too bad actually. So to get it back to standard tuning, you know what, yeah, no problem at all. So very impressed with that. So I think overall I've done all right. You know, it's it's definitely getting a bass that's it's like an X-demo thing. I think visually it looks pretty good. You know, I'm really pleased with it, with the colour of it. Right, I'm just going to unplug it. Just watch your ears. Man, this socket is deadly. It's absolutely. Oh, there you go. Cool. I say Ryan sent me some pics, and there was some sort of mark I thought down sort of just below the tuners, but you know what, I can't even feel it. I'm really, really pleased with this, because say looking at the photos, I know photos can sometimes be a bit misleading, but it looked as though somebody had got something sharp and just kind of jabbed it into the wood. But I'm not even going to bother showing you, because there's literally nothing there to see. Yeah, I'm really, really impressed with this. Right, enough waffle. I'm going to let's unbox the guitar. Let's see what that has to offer. I've got to say, I'm looking at it on the guitar stand. It looks absolutely beautiful. Really, really pleased with that. Right. Shifter. Right, I'll put the mummification stuff back into the base box. Put that back together again. I'm gonna give my young nephew Alfie a shout out, because Alfie, years ago when he was really young, used to be a big fan of unboxing videos, and he knew what you're supposed to do for an unboxing video. This was quite a last minute decision to do an unboxing video today. If I'd have had more time, I might have asked him for some tips. But Alfie, if you're watching, how you doing? And drop a comment to let me know if I've done it, if I've done a good job. Okay, so this is the guitar. I'll do the same thing. That's it. Just also. Oh, somebody's already unboxed that. Oh, I don't like that. Okay. So there's a few bits of tape. A few bits of tape have already been scored, but that's okay. There's plenty of tape left. So I'll flip it back over. Look at that, man. Cort. No, that's it. It was struggling a little bit to get that off, but that's okay. Now, same again. You know, so inside the box we've got the same type of gig bag, but look how small that is. That is comedy. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to unzip the pocket that sits above the pickups, put my hand in. Let's see what's in there. Now that's good. We've got a few more bits and pieces in this one, because this guitar has got a whammy bar, and that is something I'm really looking forward to trying out. We've got a selection of Allen keys, and we've got a spare spring for the whammy bar system. Oh, there's some more silica gel packs. Pretty standard stuff. So I'll put that back in there. I'm going to keep the whammy bar out. And so I went for the whammy bar option on this, because one of the places where whammy bars tend to go out of tune, or one of basically the headless design should help with tuning stability, because it's where you've got, you know, standard tuning pegs and things like that where slippages can occur, and you haven't got that with this type of guitar. So theoretically, the headless design should stay in tune better. That's what I'm hoping. So that is funny. That is, man. It's like a child's guitar. But I love it, you know, because if it does the same job, and you know, I mean, there's so many old wives' tales among guitar players as to, you know, a guitar's got to be this. It's got to have this. If it doesn't weigh 10 stone, you know, it's going to have no sustain and all this sort of absolute rubbish. So yeah, you know, so I'm hopefully going to plug this in and be able to impress you. So get rid of the mummy. Layer one of the mummy. Yeah, Ryan, you're absolutely right. I am having fun unboxing this. It's like an onion. There's so many layers. So the other elastic band. And the final unwrapping of the mummy. So I'm going to try not to balls this up. Okay, so this time I've got to go inside the polystyrene sheet and then pull it out from inside. Oops, a daisy. Now Ryan very kindly fitted a new set of strings on this for me yesterday. I'm not sure why that would have been necessary in a way, but I guess these guitars are quite niche, so it might well have been sitting in the shop for several months, you know, so either way, it's really nice of him to put a new set of strings on. There you go, this is it. Now this finish, I mean, again, it's like Ryan sent me a picture of this yesterday, and I've got to say, in the flesh, I think it looks even better, you know. It's a lovely looking thing. Right, so I'm going to put the whammy bar in. Now, I don't know what sort of job Ryan's made of stretching the strings in. I mean, he's a good guy, so I imagine it's all going to be as it should be. Controls are much simpler on this, something I'm much more familiar with, and I've got to say the lightness of this thing is unbelievable. It's balance-wise, obviously, because there's no headstock, it's tending to tilt upwards, but for a guitar that's not a bad thing. I'd much rather it do that than do that, you know. But again, I mean, for sort of, if I'm ever in a situation again where I'm on the left hand side of the stage like I used to be when I was in Budgie, whew, how many minutes has it been without mentioning Budgie? I've done well today. But that would be dead easy to sort of, I just have to take one pace back, get the neck past the mic stand, and then I can walk toward the middle of the stage. Absolutely no problem. Right, I'm going to plug this back in, and I'm going to change the plug-in that I'm using. So this guitar is the pickups are just passive pickups, they're not active. So there's no major pop-in like I got on the bass. So look, I've literally got the bass in front of me here, and it just looks beautiful. I'm really pleased. Okay, so I'll shut down the Ampeg SVT. We're finished with that, and just for quickness, I'm going to open up the Neural DSP Archetype Petrucci, which is my standard go-to. Now I haven't even checked the tuning. We're going to just hit a chord and hopefully it'll sound in tune. Right, now I am going to just check the tuning because I'm not convinced. Obviously it's got a brand new set of strings on, so it would have been quite impressive if it had been perfectly in tune. Okay, so I'm using the built-in tuner from the plug-in. That's pretty close, the knee's almost bang on. So the B's a little bit sharp. Okay. So I've got to be honest, that sound that I was just playing through is the sound from the Gunslinger video, and that was tailored for my my Charvel. Now this guitar, I can hear acoustically, it's a much brighter sounding instrument, so I think whatever I plug this into, I'm going to have to probably compensate by backing off on the treble, on the high frequencies. So your traditional guitarists are going to say, you see, you've got to have a block of concrete to have a decent tone. Love it. So tuning guitars, it's something that you shouldn't really do during a gig or during filming a video. But it's Sunday morning, man. What else are you going to watch? Alan Titchmarsh, really? So as anybody who's used a floating tremolo system knows every time you change the tuning on one string, it automatically changes the tuning on all the other strings. So you have to go through this process a few times before you finally get to a point where they're all settled down and they're all at the right pitch. Right, so unplug, that sounds pretty good. Okay, let's put it through its paces then. So I'm not changing the settings. This is just sort of how it sounds with you know, without any preconceptions. Okay, there's a little bit of crackling you might hear coming in. I think that's coming from my speakers, which even though they're probably 3 years old, they still haven't been quite worn in yet. And you have to literally run them in these Adam Audio speakers. So I'm sort of intrigued as to how well this tremolo unit works, you know. What I did then was my standard test. I've talked about this on one of my other videos from way back, and the test is, if you play the open G string, push the bar down, let it come back up, and see if the pitch has changed. So you play the, so remember what that sounds like. Play it again, push the bar down, let the bar come back up, don't pull it up, just let it come back up under its own steam. So that will always kind of happen, you know. It's like once you've done it a few times, it will always come back up to the same pitch. What you want to test then is pulling the bar up and then letting it come back down. And now I'm going to go both ways. Now, I don't know if you'd be able to tell, but according to my ears, there is ever such a slight discrepancy, but it's no worse than what I would get on a good Floyd Rose, you know. I think the only tremolo system that I had that was absolutely perfect was on my Tom Anderson, and that's the original Floyd Rose, you know. I mean, those things cost hundreds and hundreds of pounds these days, and now, because it's it's quite an old guitar now, I'd say it's no better than what this is. And this is actually really good. It's got a lock-in collar, as most Floyd Rose tremolo systems do, you know, so you can sort of turn that and then the bar stays where it is. If you loosen it off, the bar kind of flops about like that. Should talk about the pickups. I believe these are Cort's own pickups. They're not Seymour Duncan's or DiMarzio's or anything like that. You've got a basic volume and a tone, and the three pickups, this is the only true HSS configuration that I've got. I think these are single coils. Find out if you know what, they might actually be humbuckers, because normally that would be buzzing if that was an actual single coil pickup. Now there is a noise gate on this plugin that I am employing. I am using it, but even with the noise gate, you would still get like a bit of mains hum. So I'm wondering if these are actually humbuckers. That crackling is getting quite annoying, but that is nothing to do with the guitar. That is literally just the speakers. And there might be something, actually, you know what, I'm going to just double check. There might be something overloading. No, I'm just checking the meters on the plug-in. The input and the output are both absolutely not overloading, so yeah. And I said that the gate is on minus 93.1 dB, so it's virtually off. So that makes me think then that these what look like single coils are actually humbuckers, which is the same as what they are on my Tom Anderson, you know. So okay, I mean, it's not a problem. It's not why I bought this guitar anyway, but it's just something I thought, being as I haven't got any HSS guitars, this might be a good addition. I think either way, what I have noticed about it is it's a little bit like my Telecaster in the sense that the response is immediate. It's got a real bark to it. This has. It has got a different character to any other guitar that I've got. I think this one. Yeah, so I think the bass was more of an instant sort of, I liked it straight away. This guitar, I think I'm going to have to do a bit of work and spend a bit of time with it, try and sort of figure out how to get the best from it, I said that about old wives' tales about guitar players and stuff, but yeah, I'm starting to wonder now. So something I thought I'd better just show you before I wrap this up. So the truss rod adjustment is there. It's on this guitar, and it's exactly the same on the bass. It's just at the end of the neck. There's a little cutout in the fingerboard where you can access like a wheel with holes in it, and that's what you push the spoke bar through, and then you can rotate it, and then it either tightens or loosens the truss rod, So that's how that works. But I mean, it's so cool. Last time I had a cool looking guitar was my Parker Fly Deluxe, which features on the artwork on my first album, my My World album. Although it never actually did any recording for that album, that was all done on my my Chauvel that I did the Gunslinger video on. But yeah, this is the coolest, most interesting looking guitar that I've had since then. Maybe even more so, because I think that the whammy bar on this is far better than what was on the Parker. And yeah, the paint job's kind of cool, man. I wasn't sure about the maple neck because I've never really been a big fan of maple necks, but this has got a roasted maple fingerboard, maple fretboard, and it feels nice. You know, it's not massively dissimilar to rosewood in a way. You know, it's very smooth, but it hasn't got that kind of sticky feel that you sometimes used to get on like old Strats and things like that. So yeah, so quite pleased. Yeah, so you can tell because it tends to have quite a bright sound. Harmonics are absolutely everywhere on it, you know. So yeah, what I've got to do now, my next job is to figure out where I'm going to put these things, because I have literally got nowhere to put new guitars. But I don't really want to sell any. But I'll figure it out, and I'll let you know. So guys, if you've enjoyed this video, and if it's made you sort of consider getting into headless stuff. What's put me off buying headless guitars before is because back in the day you had to buy special strings, and on those instruments, I'm talking about Steinbergers and things like this, you didn't have this kind of chunky bit at the end of the neck. The neck would literally just finish where the nut is, but the strings had to have ball ends on both ends of the string. What they do these days, and you find this on Strandbergs and other headless guitars, is they're just clamped, you know. So it's like you put the string over the nut, clamp it, and then you can just cut the end off, and it's just like a locking nut that you get on a Floyd Rose or something like that. And on the other end, the ball end just kind of sits in the bridge, you know. So I don't think you have to chop that off in any way. I'm guessing. Well, I'm gonna figure this out. I might do how to restring a headless Cort guitar, you know. But either way, standard strings will work in these, which is, you know, much better for me. So yeah, cool. I'll leave it there for now. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks for watching. Please share and subscribe, comment if you get the time, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Cheers.